Hey everybody. Yeah, sorry about Monday, but yeah, it was Labor Day and because certain things that happened over the Saturday and Sunday, I had to go meet people for a morning breakfast meeting and it's can't go into details, but kind of took over my entire day. Um, yeah, today is Wednesday, the 4th of September, 2024. It's about 10 after 9 in the morning as I'm recording this. And yeah, for legality's sake, remember, hey, I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient, psychic, so everything is entertainment purposes only. And so do your own research, form your own opinion. Being sent little notices from YT to remind people that, yeah, we have the thanks button activated, the join button, the super chats, and all of that fun stuff. And for the people who want to join the channel, it's basically what I'll do is if you're on the bottom lower tier, you can contact me like once a month via uh, FB Messenger for a fast question. And each tier you get um, not only that, but the second tier up, you also get a full 2-hour birthday reading. And then if you go for the top tier, it's a full 2-hour reading every 90 days, every 3 lunar cycles. Okay? So it's not a bad deal. I know other readers, they say, oh, they give you a fast blurb on something that might run 20-30 minutes for open viewing, but if you want to know the extended information, you have to click onto another site, and it's like anywhere from $3 to $50 to watch it. And I'm like, that is a ripoff. So I do the math, and this is what it comes out to. So it's like we either go through the stupid YT connection or, but yeah, it's in the boxes, the email address to schedule a private session. So, and I do those over either like the FB Messenger video or WhatsApp or regular good old phone calls. So make your choice. Now, uh, I did get a lot of people reaching out to me asking me, oh, what's going on, or this and that. And okay, the story about the people being, uh, okay, Chicago has like two different, public transport is called the Regional Transport Authority. And it's kind of three different divisions. You've got the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, which handles the buses, city buses, and our subway is called the Elevated, the L trains. And the L trains are different colored routes. Like you've got yellow and purple and red and blue and pink and green. And on the blue line, it some issues happened. And because of what happened on it, there will be major changes in the CCP laws, the concealed carry regulations for the state of Illinois, because concealed carry here, they say, oh, you can't take it in. They list a whole shitload of places that you can't bring your item into. Well, ironically, those are the places where you need to carry it most importantly. Because when people go batshit crazy, it usually happens in a church, it happens in a school, it happens in a large place of business, it happens in a public arena, public transport. And those places, the concealed carry laws tell you can't carry. Well, this incident on the train, on the L train, the blue line, basically now has said, hey, people now are going to be, they're going to push it through. People will be able, it will be legal for people to have their item with them when they're using public transportation. Yeah. It is. Things are changing. People are no longer going by the I'm looking for the right word. Remember, it's like, hey, whenever they start taking away people's Second Amendment rights, you're following deeper down the rabbit hole into communism or something like the Third Reich. So people are starting to rebel. The other thing that people were concerned about is this news story that was released, and now it's finding out that all that information was AI, computer generated by somebody. It is a phony story that was put out on unreliable news sources. Okay, before the convention, the Donkey Fest, it was known and it was announced that Baboon Johnson was moving everybody, all the illegals, from the River North area, the Streeterville neighborhood, the downtown, the Loop neighborhood where he had basically taken over hotels. He was moving them out of those hotels and down to the south side of Chicago, which is known kind of basically as a rough area. Well, they had moved a bunch of these illegal idiots into this apartment building that was in like the neighborhood around 61st and Martin Luther King Drive. And that neighborhood is basically a black neighborhood. And I don't want to make assumptions or cast doubts, but in different neighborhoods of the city of Chicago, there's different gangs, street gangs. And so Baboon moved all the illegal scumbags, the members of the Venezuelan and Iranian army, out of downtown Chicago so all the nice hotels and everything could look pristine and proper for the Donkey Fest attendees. And he moved all these people out to the further reaches of the city. Well, now the neighborhood social club gangs are taking matters into their own hands. And I was told that that phony police report, phony 911 call, was actually generated by some computer geeks affiliated with either the Venezuelan or the Iranian army. Yeah. They're all over the place. And so they're trying to get people scared. But they're just showing how much of a presence the communists out of Venezuela and the Islamic Republic has staked its claim in areas of America. It's not nice to hear, but it's reality. You see, the current administration, Barry Obama, remember, he is a Muslim. And ironically, because his partner is allegedly a Mikey, he would be tossed off a building. But he's like taking his own form of Islamic worship here in the United States. Yes, people need to look at what's happened in Afghanistan. Yeah, it's like Blinken followed Barry's orders and basically allowed, because Blinken is actually Barry's spokesperson. He's doing the bidding of Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama. And yeah, Jojo and Cammy Poop are just the puppets, or the beard that Obama is hiding behind. Yeah, those 3 years ago. Yeah, they allowed the destruction, or took away all Western points of Western civilization away from the Afghan people. And every woman who is supporting Cami Poop Harris needs to look at what has happened to women in Afghanistan. They've basically have been turned into household slaves. They have to ask permission and be escorted now by a male family member if they even want to do any grocery shopping. And when they do exit their house, even if it's to go into their yard, which is a courtyard, they have to be wearing a tent, basically. They've taken every single right away from a female in Afghanistan. They've also taken away 90% of the rights of the women in Iran. That's what their goal is for here in the United States. They're trying to do that in the UK and in Europe. Europe is starting to fight back. The UK is starting to wake up. And people over in the UK, they're starting to wake up now. And what triggered the wake-up call in the UK is the silly, stupid smoking ban. Something that they're not telling people. You see, nicotine can also be found in other foods. And nicotine prevents the whatchamacallit from staying within somebody's body. Though, whatchamacallit is basically, it's like, hey, what's a good analogy? It's like releasing a slow toxic substance into your body, and it works slower than remdesivir. Remdesivir, after 72 hours, your internal organs shut down. But every time you get your health deteriorates further and further. And people now in the UK, okay, they were forced into the whatchamacallit, they were forced into other stuff. Now they're having to deal with this stupid smoking ban. Well, that kind of pushed people over the edge, and they're starting to wake up, and they're realizing that because of the voter apathy, they allowed the UK to go into self-destruct mode. Watch out, KC3. There will be major petitions to eradicate Keir Starmer and his government and the illegals out of the UK. Remember what happened to the first KC1. And actually, this is the second time the original KC3 they called the Old Pretender never even made it to the throne. And the second KC2, well, we know what. He was basically a playboy, but he was trying to fix what Cromwell had done. So, KC3, wake up. With all the shit hitting the fan now, when you get back from Balmoral, if Keir Starmer hasn't cleaned up his act after his private weekend, you might want to dissolve Parliament and call for a new election. He has that right, that ability. I know it's kind of weird. It's like his monarchy, he can still do a lot of stuff. And a lot of people need to wake up that the judicial system is completely different in the UK versus America. Completely different. I mean, the judicial system that's in the Commonwealth, you can do a lot of things and get away with a lot more than what happens here. But here in the States, yeah, we're dealing with Barry basically running the country. What, JoJo was off on vacation for 16 days? Of course, we had Blinken going out all over the place, and I guess Blinken has been frequent flyer miles between America and Tel Aviv, and he keeps negotiating shit. Well, he keeps forcing Israel into more and more concessions, and the people in Iran keep saying, "Nope, nope, okay, give us more, but we're not going to give you anything." And people are squawking. They're like, "Why isn't Hamas?" They want to kill the Jews. They want to kill everybody of the Jewish faith. So wake up, blue Jews. Your name is on the boxcar list. And then they're going to go after every other religion that isn't, if you're not praying 5 times a day. Last year, I said, hey, they're not going to release those hostages, which are actually prisoners of war. When they come back, they will be in body bags. So every time Israel and the world isn't capitulating to Tehran, they're going to go pow, 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 pow and return the bodies. They were taken in an act of war. And people feel so bad. Oh, free this, free that. I go, yeah, those twisted, brainwashed idiots. Don't they know they'll be loaded into a boxcar and headed off? But they're the undereducated fools. Think about it. Most of these idiots out there, they get their information from social media. They don't understand the realities. They were not taught. These are the these kids are being taught by the children of the Timothy Leary LSD Flower Children Summer of Love generation. Yeah. Right now, the kids up to about 25-year-olds, they've never been taught the truth. They don't know the real stories. And it's up to people like me who actually heard the honest stories from parents and aunts, uncles, and older siblings that were in, and older cousins that did serve in Korea and Vietnam. We've got to start telling the truth because we heard the living history. And yet people in different places are trying to shut down the true living history and feed nothing but evil propaganda. And now, thankfully, somebody has had the balls to subpoena Blinken for a House committee investigation on what happened and who was the mastermind for what happened in Afghanistan. Who is the real culprit? Who's responsible for it? And if odds are he's going to ignore the subpoena, which means he's hiding everything. Watch where he needs to be watched. Big time. So you have to keep an eye on it. This is what's going down. We have to watch out because this is becoming more and more commonplace. We have to clarify where our news is coming from. Tech gurus are putting out lots of false information. They're hiding the truth. It's ironic, but yeah, it's because the police departments in many major cities, their hands are tied by Democratic mayors. We are going to have to rely on neighborhood social clubs to protect us from the evil of Iran and their little minions that are invading our territories, our homes, our neighborhoods, our schools. And many police officers are, how do we put it? Should they find a non-breathing person like in a dumpster? Yeah, they're looking because a lot of these guys have their serial numbers, their ID numbers tattooed on their body. And if they see something like that, it's a low priority investigation. Well, if some raghead, yeah, goes after a woman who's been in the neighborhood forever, tries to assault her, of course, the men of the men who've lived in the neighborhood for years, who have seen this woman grow up from a child to a young lady, they will seek revenge. Remember, it's the 5-time-a-day group that believe in honor unaliving. So now it's going to be the neighborhood social clubs doing, if a woman is attacked or injured or a child, the social clubs will now be following the example of the 5-time-a-day idiots of honor unaliving. And many police will make those investigating what happened to those non-breathing people a non-priority, which thankfully, sorry that we're going to have to rely on these groups, but this is what's coming down the pike. And more and more people are waking up. And it's can be frightening, but they're the ones that are keeping most of those idiots in line. Now, yeah, over the past couple of days, a lot of stuff has happened online because of different things. I'm sure many of you have watched Avid Gardener. She put out some information and it pertains to somebody else. I mean, there's a lot of social media can be extremely toxic to people, and I just kind of I just roll my eyes at a bunch of it. And unfortunately, some people decide to take one word or one phrase out of context and then they build a complete video around it. Well, and they take sound bites from people to use but what they're using as their beard, one day those game developers will track you down. Because I don't think whenever you download something or buy a video game and play on social media with it, you gotta read the terms and conditions completely. And if you don't, but you just clicked on it, you can get yourself into a heck of a lot of trouble. Just like people said, oh, why don't you use the stuff from the Russian guy that France is trying to put in prison, that platform? I go, well, I read the T&Cs. And when I saw that the servers were based in Dubai, I'm like, hell no. Because remember, they may say it's the new Middle East. Oh, the Emirates are so westernized, but women still have to dress basically in abayas. They're still wearing niqabs and hijabs. Women don't, the Emirates are still closer toward the Shia, S-H-I-A form of Islam than the Sunni. And it's the Shia that want to take over the world. And who knows? It's so easy to tap into stuff. And those servers depend on electricity to work. What happens if the electricity is cut and then somebody has to go in and restore the electrical connections? They could easily tap into another port on those data servers and start harvesting everyone's personal information. That's why I don't use that. And once I saw that, I'm like, nope, not going near it. And until those servers are out of Dubai, not safe. Not safe at all. I mean, you're safer putting stuff up on the streaming platform that I call the Wild Wild West. BitChute. And yeah, I make sure that I don't use the software that Google provides. I use different software to record and to do editing. And once I'm done, everything gets saved on an external, you know, these Jabberdoos. I've got a bunch of them. And yeah, this is 128 gigabytes, so yeah, I buy the ones with high memory. So everyone, yeah, I hope you're having a great day, and next video will go up on Friday. And next Sunday will be the live stream. And yeah, don't believe everything that if someone has to use a beard to put their stuff up and doesn't use StreamYard but uses like a gamer platform, ignore them. And there's a lot of other idiots out there. Just ignore the trash. Do your research, do your homework on these people. Yeah. I mean, I was doxxed. They did put my names up there. One of the little fools. And a lot of people did Google me. Yes. In certain aspects, I'm a big deal. I'm a celebrity in certain areas, especially in the world of legal. When it comes to federal labor law and changing things within a certain industry, I am a really big deal. And so, yeah, I do have a target on me because people who I called out on their misbehavior, starting way back in 2011 is when the paperwork was initially filed. I'm not afraid of them. Not at all. And if they want to use some little fool to try to get my goat, it's not going to happen, but hey. And I realize that some people don't realize because that little girl, or she's going to be 43. She thinks she has a rough idea of what American legal system is all about and what you can and cannot do. But our legal system is completely different from what goes on in the UK. And yeah, I was a kid. Had to travel every weekend to go hang out with my dad. So I spent a lot of time in the UK and other European areas. Yeah, fly out on Thursday night to be with Dad by 3 o'clock on Friday. Doesn't work if your mom is living in the United States and your dad's in Europe. There's a big time difference. So it's called, I had to be with him by his 3 3:30 to between 3 and 5 p.m. his time. So yeah, I did have to fly out on Thursday night to whatever city he was in. So yeah, fly back to the States on Sunday or Monday, depending if it was a 3-day weekend. And then spend your summers where Dad is at. So I did. Grew up in both places, yeah. It started when I was about 10 years old. Yeah, that's when I could, under supervision, basically because of the airlines, I could be put on a first class seat, put in a first class seat on an international flight, starting at about age 10 to fly over. Yeah, I got to meet a lot of celebrities. Got to meet a lot of people. I know some people are kind of jealous. So let her, you know, she'll turn into a lovely shade of green. But folks, it's half an hour now, so everyone have a great evening. I'm heading off now to this evening. We'll got some stuff to take care of, and I'll be talking to you on Friday. Bye.